Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whatever time of day it is for you guys, and cheers with my fun Sailor Moon cup. Today I wanted to get, first look at my shirt, guys. My weekend is booked. Yo. Yeah, sometimes the Bronx comes out and I say yo here and there, and then it's just like, it all goes downhill. But anyway, this weekend, I went back to the farmer's market, and if you didn't see my last book haul, oh my gosh, I got a shit ton more books this weekend, and I cannot wait to do another book haul. And yeah, just exciting. I also finished the Night Circus, and it was fun. It was a good book. I really enjoyed it. I love the idea of just magic and the whimsy that was behind it. It was fun. It was nice. It was a cute romantic book that was a little different from your normal romance books. And I think that's why I steer clear from romance, because it's just, your typical damsel in distress, and then a guy comes and saves her and all this stuff. And we know that never really happens. So anyway, I picked up a bunch of books, and this month I decided that I wanted to do a September TBR. So the TBR, from what I learned on BookTube, is to be read. So the books that I'm hoping to read this month, I have a nice little stack here, and I wanted to show you guys. Also, don't come for me, but if you're going to come for me, come for me. But I know how people are reading so many books a month, and that's because they're including Audible books in their reading. Now, you are listening to a book, and you can count it as understanding the book, and yeah, you're listening to it, but you technically didn't read the book. Reading is a very kind of personal thing. You go through the pages, you're very focused on the book. As opposed to listening, I feel like you can definitely just get distracted. So, yeah. If you listen to Audible books, great for you. I don't normally do that. I do that only if I'm doing like self-help books, because I don't know, I like to imagine things myself. I like to be engrossed in the book, and I want to, I don't know, sometimes the author, when they're reading, it kind of changes the story for me. So anyways, I'm better when I'm reading the book, and since I'm not doing Audible, I will not be reading a ton of books a month. But I do feel like the list that I have here is kind of big for 1 month on a person that works 9 to 5, and I work after work, and sometimes I work on the weekends, and yeah, so we shall see how this is going to get done. First, we need a little sip of the coffee. And guys, I have so many books since I started watching Book Talk that I have just a stack here. But what I'm hoping to do is, once I read a book, if it's not a book that I think that I will pick up again and I will read again, or I really want to keep, then that book is actually going to be gifted to the free little libraries that we have around here. So I'll just go around to the free little libraries and donate the books that I know that I will not read again, but that I know somebody else will enjoy. So the first book, you guys probably know, this was the book that I wanted to read next, and it is Ninth House by Leah Bardugo. I think that's how you say her last name. But I am super excited to read this book. And right on the top from Stephen King, it says, the best fantasy novel I've read in years. And listen, if that's a review from Stephen King, then let's go. Not that I've read any Stephen King books. I really haven't. I don't know why. But he's a great author. He has tons of books. Tons of his books have been turned into movies. So I'm going to trust his review. From what I gathered, I think I told you guys in my last video what this book was about. It's about I believe it's a woman named Alex who basically survives a multiple homicide. She gets accepted, or she gets asked to go to Yale University and act as basically a person that's kind of supervising all of the elite groups in the university. And this is more like a dark academia, dark fantasy book, and I'm super excited to read this. I've only heard great reviews on Book Talk about this book, so yeah. And I really have to stop making those noises. But yeah, let's put her right here. Does anybody like Sailor Moon? I used to love Sailor Moon as a kid. I think when I was like 8 years old, maybe 9. I got every Sailor Moon doll, the little mini ones, for Christmas from my mom, and I was just super excited. Super excited. All right. Now, I wanted to stick with a theme this month, and I wanted to do like fantasy, all fantasy, but there's a couple of other books that I've been wanting to read for a while now, and I was just like, no, I can't. I have to put them on this list, so I'm going to read this book. This next book was recommended by my daughter, and it is The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. She said that she read this book really quickly. She lent it out to one of her friends, and her friend read it in a day. So, yeah, I'm super excited to read this book. The next book that I am super intrigued to read for the month of September is Gods of Jade and Shadow by Silvia Moreno Garcia. Now, I got this book from a used bookstore, and the other book, The 7 Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, honey, I got that this weekend for $1, and that's why I was just like, let me just put this on my TBR. It's telling me to read it. Done. So I got that for $1. And then this book by Silvia Moreno Garcia, I already read. Sorry, I told you guys to talk fast. I read Mexican Gothic and I read Velvet Was a Night. And both of those good, both of those books were good and very different reads. Now this one, from what I got, is about a woman named Cassiopeia. I don't know if you're saying that name correctly, but it's about a young woman named Cassiopeia, that basically she lives a life of like cleaning for her family. And then one day she's like cleaning her grandfather's room and she finds a box. And in this box, she unleashes like a Mayan god. And a lot of things happen from there. So it just seems interesting, something that I would enjoy. So I would love to read this for the month of September. Boom. Now, another book that ever since, everybody started talking about this book, I was just like, I need to read this book. I love books that don't make any sense, right? Well, that sounds wrong. That are kind of whimsy, that you're like, you've read it, and then you're just like, what did I read? Like, it was fun, but what did I read? I kind of felt that way about The Goldfinch. It was a great book, but at the end of it, I was kind of just like, what did I read? Like, I knew what I read, but I was just like, what? I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Like, I wanted to... At the end, I got what I needed from the book. I don't make sense. Anyways, Piranesi. Piranesi is a book that's been recommended for a while, and I just wanted to jump on the bandwagon and grab this book as well. So from what I got from this book, it's basically about a lonely man that lives in a magical house with endless like walls, like a labyrinth of rooms and halls. And he's trying to get out, or he's not trying to get out. He doesn't want to leave, and only one person can visit him. It sounds really psychological to me. It sounds like something that you have to read it and kind of decipher it for yourself to kind of find out the meaning of what this would be. But it sounds fun. It looks like, it's not too bad. I might get through this in a weekend, depending on what I'm doing. So, excited to read this book. Now, it was just going to be these 4 books. And then I was going to try to read this book this month because it is the book of the year. Oh, I almost smacked myself in the face. But I was going to try to read this book by Kristin Hannah. And I was just like, we'll see. If I get to it, I'll read this book because I'm excited to read it. Anyways, it's a historical fiction book. I'm excited to read it. It looks like it's a thick one. Not a little thick bitch, but it'll be all right. If I get to it, totally tell you if this is a good book. And, if you trust my recommendation, you go out and you go buy it. If not, then don't. But the reason why I was kind of pushed back is because me and my girlfriend subscribes to Book of the Month. And if you refer somebody, you get a free book. And she has 2 free books. And I'm my third finger right here. She has 2 free books and she let me pick the books. And I was super excited. Dun, 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 dun. Anyways, so these are the other 2 books that I am going to try to read this month. The first book is, and you guys have seen this, is My Dark Vanessa. I know I'm kind of back in the book game. People have read this book a million times, and excuse me, I burped because I'm a pig, and I do that sometimes. And since I want you guys to be my friend. I want you to know. I want you guys to be my friends. I want you to know that I burp in front of my friends all the time, and they just rate my burps at this point because that's who I am. Anyway, I got my Dark Vanessa. I was excited to read this book because when I heard that it's about, a teenager that ends up dating a teacher, and she's just basically talking about the psychological effects that it had on her from what I got from other reviews, I was just like, I have to read that because and I haven't done any story times or anything, but I had my first kid when I was about 15 years old. And then I had my second when I was 17. And then it was a weird thing that happened when I turned, when they turned 15 and then 17. And I realized how young I was. It was weird. And I know it's very different, but, and there's other private stuff that I don't talk about on this channel, but there were things that happened that I was just like, wow, you were really, really young. Like really young, and had you known better, you probably would have done better, and had just a lot of different factors play into that. But anyway, I want to read that book, and I'm excited to read that book. And the other book that I don't know much about, but I heard that it's a cross between what is that book, Rebecca, and like Mexican Gothic, and that is the Hacienda. Am I saying that right? Hacienda. I am excited to read this book. Super excited. Now, I was going to wait for this book to be like an October on my TBR list because I want to read a bunch of like just scary books that month. But yeah, I couldn't wait. So I put it on for this month, and I'm super excited to read it. So next month, I guess I'll read Hyde and a couple of other books that I really want to read. Like I got from oh my gosh, for $1 yesterday. I think it was called The Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. And I've been looking for that book, and I was like, oh, I want to read that. So that probably will be on my October TBR, and I'm super excited for that. So yeah, these are the books. My Dark Vanessa, my Hacienda. These are, I hope I'm saying that right. Piranesi. Labyrinth. Does anybody know what the word labyrinth means? Do you know what labyrinth means? I'm just going to let you put in the comments if you do. If you don't feel shy. Okay. I know what it means. I explained it to you in the beginning when I was talking about Piranesi. So, yeah. These are all of the books that I'm going to read this month. And I'm super, super excited. And if you guys want a book review on any of these books and you want to let me know, just let me know in the comments. Don't be shy. Leave a comment down below. Tell me if I'm obnoxious. Tell me if you like watching this. Tell me if you like any of these books. If, you have any book recommendations for me. Again, I love dark fantasy, historical fiction, and horror books. Some dark academia. I'm a sucker for that stuff. And I'm trying to get into romance, and you'll see that in my next book haul. I think I picked up one more romance book. I'll give it a shot just because I heard great reviews on it. So, yeah. Until next time, guys. Bye.